have a few really special pieces to show you today. These today are all items my buddy Gil and I have recently found, except for one. So let's get right into it, because these are really, really cool. This is the first one. I'll tip it so you can see the full length of it. This is a piece that was found by Gil. It is brass, a very detailed, stylized dragon, very ornate. But what was it used for? Check out how ornate, I don't know if you can tell in this lighting, how ornate the face is. Now check this out. Here's the tongue, here's the head and the crest, here's the neck, coming down, here's its wing, and coming on down, the body is stylized. There's a few pieces missing, but not much. Now the thing is, it is on both sides the detail. It's not like one-sided like a dresser pole or something like that. So, cool piece. Here are your choices. Which is true and which is me lying my butt off. All right, number one. This is a hood ornament from the 1934 Phaeton Dragon automobile. Now this car was made in China and sold to only the elites in China because they're the only ones that could afford it. One Phaeton Dragon was given to President Theodore Roosevelt as a gift from the Chinese Emperor. And there's only one other known to have been here in the States. So, how did this beautiful piece that was mounted on the hood end up here in Saginaw, Michigan? Number two, this is the head and body, as I just showed you, a full effigy of the dragon. And this is a very rare effigy that was adored by and used by Buddhist monks of Tibet. The dragon is very important in their mythology. And so this is a very special piece, a rare piece that they used. And number three, this is an ornament from a Victorian era hanging kerosene or gas lamp or gas light. Its beauty likely indicates that it was used in a very elegant home, perhaps of one of the lumber barons here in Saginaw, Michigan. So those are your three choices. I will tell you at the end of the video which one is indeed correct, and I will make myself out to be a rotten liar again. Now this next one was also found by Gil. It is a tool, and it was found in an abandoned church here in Saginaw. So what in the world was this device used for? It is considerable age, as you can tell. Now, here are three choices. This is an antique veterinarian tool used for the extraction of teeth on larger animals like cows, horses, or my second ex-wife. Okay, Frankie, I'm sorry. That was a bit mean. I apologize. Sort of. Anyways, number one, Victorian device to extract animal teeth. Number two, this is a really awful device, and it gives me cringy feelings just holding it, because this was used on farms way, way, way back in the day. It was used for castrating. That's right, removing the testicles from young stock that were not going to be used to reproduce. It directed energy back into the body, building the muscles and tissue much firmer and better quality to send to market. So this is a castrating device. Number three, this is actually a tool used for working on horse hoofs, sort of like nail clippers, except for big animals, a lot bigger. Although I know a few people that could use those for their toenails. Sick. In fact, as proof, on the base of the handle, if you can see this right here, let me get this up close for you. This one right here particularly is a horse's hoof, so that the farm worker could just, have that on the shelf. He'd see, oh, there's a horse's hoof. There's their hoof clipper. So this little bitty horse hoof clipper is proving that this is not a lie of mine. Excuse me, the little dealie on the end proves this is not a lie of mine, that this is indeed a clipper for animal hooves. Okay, now let's go to number three, and this one is a favorite of mine. Now this is a recent find. I found this one And let me show you this. It's broken here on this side, but it's just unique enough that I decided that I wanted to keep it in my display collection anyways. Now, what is this? Well, number one, Saginaw, Michigan, where I found this, is known for its lumbering industry back in the 1800s, one of the probably the biggest producing area in the world at that time. And in the early 1900s, there was a lot of coal mining done here in Saginaw also. So after a long hot day out in the woods, cutting trees, sawing trees, or down in the mines, sweating your butt off trying to get coal up for people, those men wanted a good, tall, cold beer. Okay? This stoneware tumbler is actually one that was used in the Petrov Petri bar near the Potter Street Railroad Station here in Saginaw back circa around 1890 to 1900. So this is actually a tumbler for a nice cold glass, or not glass, but stoneware tumbler of beer on a very hot day after a long day of work. Number two, this is actually a crucible for assaying metal purity. Now, why I found this in Saginaw is perplexing, as the closest metal mined is copper, and that's done way up in the Upper Peninsula. So I don't know what would be being assayed here in Saginaw, but that is indeed what this is. And, you know, I think it's a unique find. Very nice. Not beautiful, but interesting historically, and why it would be where it was. And number three, this was used for playing games in saloons. Back in the day, it was common, of course, for there to be games of chance played in saloons and money wagered, gambled for. Now, this is part of a three-piece set, actually, that were in graduated sizes. This is the tallest of the three. So this was used in a variation of the cup and ball game, where you guess what cup the ball is under when somebody manipulates these super fast on the table. And an added element to that is the graduated sizes. Makes it a little more difficult for the person trying to hide the ball. So it is a tumbler, or a tumbler for a cold glass of beer. It is an assaying crucible, or it is for games played in a bar back in the day. Now I have something, number four. It's a bonus. It's kind of cute. Let me show you this. It is a little piglet. And it's got a little glass thing in its little belly. Now, this is not extremely old. I think it's from the 70s or 80s. And what would something like this cute little piggy found by Gil, what purpose would it serve? All right. Number one, it is a little magnifying glass to carry for an emergency purpose. Among other things, the lens can be used to start a fire or to light a cigarette, hopefully, if you're not a child. Or a doobie, perhaps. But the lens here would magnify the light, concentrate the light. Many of us as boys did that with a magnifying glass to start fires or to burn ants or whatever. I didn't do that. I was a good kid, though. All right, anyways, magnifying glass for emergency purposes. If it gets out, the wood gets lost, it start a rescue fire. Number two, simply a keychain and a glass. The glass is just for decoration, simple as that. Or number three, this is a pendant for a youngster's necklace, and the child could put a picture of their cat or dog or somebody special in this pendant, and then you could have that special animal or person with you wherever you went. So this is actually a little pendant that would have been worn with a little picture in here that was very special. So there you are. Those are the four items for today. Are you ready for the big reveal? Because this is the part I really like. I'm going to do number one, the dragon. This dragon is not a hood ornament from the Phaeton, 1934 Phaeton Dragon automobile. There is no such car. There was a Phaeton, but not what I described here. This is also not an effigy used by Buddhist monks. Just, you know, it's kind of a neat story, but not true. The truth of the matter is, this is a part of a pair or 4 pieces, and they were on the sides of hanging gas or kerosene lamps in the Victorian era, and quite elegant. This one would have been probably from a very, very elegant home, and I just love this piece. Gil found this, and he knew how much I liked it. You really can't see the detail real well because of the lighting, but he knew how much I loved it, so he brought it over the other day, and he said, Dennis, this is for you, which I appreciated very much. Thank you, Gil, for that, and so many other pieces that you brought over for me to have. Veterinarian tool, perhaps. Choices were veterinary tool for extraction of large animals' teeth, a device for castrating small animals right after birth so that they would not reproduce later in life, or this is for working on horses. If you chose, this was to work with horse hooves with, you would have been right, or you'd be right. That is what it's for. This probably goes back to the early part of the 1900s, and again, it's a piece that Gil found. And Gil, as I told you, found it in an abandoned church that him and I explored a number of years ago. That was a fun day in that church. It was bitter cold. The tumbler. What is this baby? Is this the tumbler from local bar for a long, tall, cold glass of beer? Is it crucible for checking out the purity of metal, or was it used for the game of balls in bars back in the day? The actual use of this was for melting metal and checking the purity of it. Okay, so lastly, our little piggy wiggy. This one, is so cool. I love it. It's cute, makes me smile, but it is actually a pendant from a little girl's necklace. And she could have put a picture in here and had that with her all the time. So that's what the items are this time out. I will be doing another program in the series in a few weeks. I hope you've enjoyed this. I love bringing it to you. And God bless each and every one of you on the other side of that monitor. I love you always. And thank you for being here. God bless each and every one of you. See you again real soon.